The first, USC traveling right up the road, playing in the Rose Bowl in the same city against UCLA. Iconic venue, big-time school logos. Caleb Williams, DTR, Lincoln Riley, Chip Kelly. I mean, just put whatever you want on the headlines. Is Caleb Williams too powerful in this offense? Too powerful for what UCLA has done up until this point? Or can DTR come out and play the game of his life, which he has played very well this season as well, and spoil USC's chance of getting into the college football playoff? Break this game down for us.
I'm looking at the last couple of years. So, like, UCLA won it last year. USC had it for 2 years.
Yeah,
the last 10 years is split.
I love that you're looking at it historical, but you got to realize this is Lincoln Riley bringing in a bunch of guys in the transfer portal. This is Chip Kelly building this team up from the ruins. Right. It's two very different stories to me. Yes, absolutely look historically, but this year, this week, this game, I like USC in this football game. I think Caleb Williams, to my scenario earlier and my toast of the night, if they can navigate this game and Notre Dame and the Pac-12 title game, then the semifinal and the national championship, Caleb Williams wins the Heisman, USC wins the national championship, buy Lincoln Riley another $17 million house. They will write books and make movies off of this run if they can do it. But let's take 1 week at a time. I got USC in this one. Who you got?
I'm gonna say DTR takes it.
Okay.
And just because off pride, I think this is last year. They've had a really good year. UCLA's won some big games. They've been a competitive team. They've had aspirations to be one of those one-loss teams, maybe to go undefeated. I think they beat USC here. And I think that would be a crazy game because that would basically eliminate a lot of people and give my boys a chance at Clemson. So, but realistically, I think they do have a chance, though. I think USC, as much as anybody, like I say, like the disparity to me isn't that great. They've shown a lot of weaknesses. They lost games, the Utah game. They've shown even some of the games they've won. They haven't like dominated everyone. Like they've won games, and the offensive shows spurts. At the same time, they've struggled. Defense, like they've given up points. So to me, it's not the craziest thing to say UCLA will win the game. So I'm gonna side with UCLA. I'm gonna go with DTR to finish off his career strong with a win against USC.
Wow. They're going to have to come out and play lights out, and it will be a shootout. If you like offense,
for sure.
Game on
Two playmakers.
Playmakers, no doubt. So speaking of a team that beat USC, Utah takes on Oregon this weekend. I mean, this is like, if you could draw it up any better, like this weekend in college football is going to have some awesome matchups. Implications across the board in the Pac-12 here. Utah, Oregon, thoughts here. Bo Nix, Cameron Rise. I mean, there's so much that you could unpack here. Two teams that have lost a couple games by narrow margin outside of Oregon, the first game of the year. Two teams that have the ability to beat anybody that they come up against, in my opinion. Who are you taking in this one, Utah and Oregon?
It's tough. I'm gonna go Oregon though. I'm gonna go Oregon. Okay. I'm gonna take Bo Nix. I think he's had a really good year. Like besides, he had a fluke game the first game. To me, he's really redeemed his narrative this year because he was definitely trending back to the old Knicks of the Bo Nix of old at Auburn. And I think hats off to what he's done for the majority of this season, really building his case as a top prospect as a quarterback. But here's a question for me. So what happens if I don't know if you know the answer. What happens if UCLA wins and Utah wins? Who makes it to the Pac-12 championship?
We'd have to play that one out because if Oregon wins if Utah wins and UCLA wins.
Yeah. So Oregon and USC both got beat. Who people think they could both end up in the Pac-12 championship?
I'd have to go back and look. I want to say I don't know. We'll have to fact check that because that's an interesting scenario.
Because as much as
losses,
right, because
conference losses and Oregon, I don't know. That's interesting.
That would give Oregon 2 conference losses. Utah will only have 1. They lost to Florida, but they lost to USC. No, they beat USC. They beat USC. Who did Utah lose to?
They lost to.
I'm looking up right now.
UCLA. That's right.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean that would make it really interesting. Like I said, if UCLA wins and Utah wins, that would shake up a lot of things.
Shake up a lot of things. Yes, it would. Yes.
And so, look, the Pac-12 to me is a team to watch this weekend because that's going to be exciting things for conference. I feel like most of the conferences are pretty vanilla this weekend. I feel like that's a conference to watch for sure.
That is which at the beginning of the year I was not saying that. I thought,
right.
Utah's going to go play Florida. Florida beat them. It was a competitive game, but get back out west. You guys are going to be,
Look, and I hate that all the conference realignment is going to happen because this is the final year that actually everyone in Pac-12 has been exciting to watch.
Yep.
Like they've actually people have been tuned in, probably more so. Obviously, I get the money talks. Look, I know money talks, but to me, the Pac-12 really they've represented themselves well this year.
They have. They absolutely have. From maybe represented themselves the best in college football. Well, you got some great football going on in the SEC, but primarily in the SEC East, which typically that doesn't happen. The West is typically the top dog.
I might give you that narrative honestly, because I think to say that is because they kind of defied expectations. I feel like everybody else, besides Tennessee, I don't think nobody knew Tennessee was going to be this good. But besides them, everybody else has kind of played. Like you look at the top 10. TCU's had a good year, but besides that, like who else from the Big 12? You got Kansas State from the Big 12, and then you got Oklahoma State. For the Pac-12, you got Oregon State ranked. You got Washington ranked. UCLA is ranked. It's 3. You got Utah ranked at 10. You got USC ranked, and Oregon just got booted out. No, Oregon's 12. So you got 6 teams in the top 25 from the Pac-12.
Yep.
And that's as competitive probably as with the SEC. Probably the SEC got a little more, but like that's a competitive conference to me. You got 6 teams. 100%. And so hats off to what they've done this year.